Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is the Chow Dawg, and today we're going to be making some pulled pork. We're going to be doing about 8 to 10 pork shoulders, pork butts. They're the same thing. These are Boston butts. They're about 6.5 pounds, so it's probably going to take me about 7 hours to fully cook, maybe a little longer. Let's get at it. All right, I'm going to start by making my rub for the pork butts. It's going to be a combination of kosher salt, black pepper, barbecue rub, and some brown sugar. The brown sugar is going to give it that bark. So we'll start by measuring 1 cup of each of the kosher salt. This is going to be the this is going to be the black pepper. We're going to add that to the salt. Now you can use your favorite barbecue seasoning. Here I'm using it's called Bad Byron's butt rub. I'm in Georgia at the moment, and you normally find this pretty good, but feel free to use your own barbecue rub for this recipe. It works fine, but I'm going to be using a cup, 1 cup, equal parts of this and equal parts of the other seasoning. And of course, I'm going to finish up with some dark brown sugar. Now I personally like the dark brown sugar. Light brown sugar works well. I just got a personal preference for the dark brown sugar. So add it to the bowl. Let me find a spoon to mix this up with. 1 second. Okay, so give everything a good stir. Make sure it's well incorporated. Make sure that everything is well blended before we put it on the meat. All right. I'm going to demonstrate with 1 pork shoulder. Again, I am cooking 10 of these today, but I'm just going to demonstrate with 1. Basically, I'm just going to give each of these just a light trim on the top. Cut off any excess fat that I see. We can leave some on there that's going to render down, but too much on top just doesn't break down. It's just going to take away from it, but a real light trimming. Anything that's flapping, I'm gonna take off. Any type of fat like this that's going deep into the meat, I want to pull out, because again, there's plenty of fat on the back side, on the underside of that fat cap. So we can afford to get rid of some of this on top. It's not going to render down. That's about it. Let me flip it over. And this is our fat cap. Now, I'm not going to trim the fat cap. Instead, what I'm doing here is I'm just scoring the fat cap. And the reason I want to leave that fat cap in place is because that fat cap is going to protect the meat from the heat. Now, my Pitt Balls vertical smoker, my heat source is at the bottom. So I'm going to cook this fat side down, so that fat cap is going to protect this from the meat. Let me apply a little bit of my binder, which is mustard. Mustard doesn't add any taste to it. It's just used to hold my rub in place. And then I'm going to rub this deliberately. And keep in mind, this is a pork shoulder, a pork butt. Now it's going to excrete a lot of juices from the meat. So you can afford to get real liberally with this. That kosher salt, that pepper, is just going to add flavor to it. And of course, the barbecue rub and the brown sugar is just going to create a nice bark on this, so that when we mix this up and pull it as a pulled pork, it's just going to have a lot of flavor. A lot of times you eat pulled pork, it doesn't really have any flavor. It's because it's not seasoned very heavily, and people rely on the barbecue sauce to mix in to bring it flavor. I don't. I want you to be able to taste the goodness of the meat before you put any barbecue sauce on it. And doing it this way is just gonna give you that. All right, so 1 done, 9 more to go. Okay, these are the rest of the pork butts. I've got them seasoned. These 8 right here are gonna go on the smoker. I'm gonna do 2 in the oven. Okay, as a side note, for those of you that don't have a smoker or a pellet grill to do your pork butts in, your Boston butts, pork shoulders in, then just use your standard oven. I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna cook them in a foil pan with a tray liner on the bottom, a little rack, to keep them elevated from all the moisture and the liquid. These I'm gonna allow to come to room temperature because I'm gonna put them in the oven. I'm not gonna rely on smoke, smoke flavor. So I want to get these at room temperature so they don't tighten up. Contrast to if I'm putting these on a smoker, I don't mind putting them in the smoker cold because smoke attracts that coldness attracts the smoke and you get a more smoke flavor. So let's get these in the oven. Set my oven at 250 degrees and we'll get them in there. Peace. All right, my Pitt Boss vertical pellet grill is coming up to temp. I'm gonna be cooking at 250 degrees. Today, I'm gonna be using some B&B Championship blend pellets, blend of cherry, blend of oak with a pecan for the cook. So let's go ahead and get everything on the grill, on the smoker. All right, the meat is still on the smoker for about 1 hour. This is where they are, nice and moist. No need to spritz at this point. See you back in a few hours. All right, my pork has been on here for about 4 hours. I love this color. The bark is looking nice. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull these, get them wrapped, and put them back on the smoker, continue cooking internally. All right, my pork's back on the grill. I'm gonna let these go until about 205 degrees. All right, to test these, I wanna make sure that my probe goes in without any resistance. That's the first way of checking to make sure they're done. Just put a probe in and without any resistance, you'll feel any hard spots and hard points that may not be done. The second way is temperature, of course. I want mine to be at 205 degrees. These are very, very close. At least this one is very, very close. And this is the one that was done in the oven. So when people say I can't get any good bark when cooking it in the oven, that's just not true. You're just not using the right seasoning for your rub. This one is good and done. I can tell by the probe test it was good, but she's right at 205. So she's perfect. So I'm gonna pull this one and put the other one back in the oven. All right, finished product. Third way to tell, if that bone comes out clean and fairly easy, it's a good job. And she is nice and clean, nice and chalky, nothing sticks to it. And of course, if you do everything I just taught you, you're gonna get pulled pork that you can just mince up just like this. That bark is gonna add so much flavor into it, all that seasoning on that bark, and just nice and tender meat. I'm gonna pour back some of the au jus over top. But this is it, fellas. Quick and simple, pulled pork on my Pitt Boss vertical smoker. This can be done on any smoker. Just watch the temps and enjoy. Thank you for watching.